See if the sound. Let me turn this thing. Okay, the Wi-Fi thing off. Let's see if the sound is good. Mm. It is cold out here. So everything copacetic. From what I see. Shalom, shalom to the brothers and sisters that's hopping on, and to the brothers and sisters that will be hopping on later. First and foremost, want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power that deserve it, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, Lord willing that they continue to endure and be sincere. In the mighty shalom to the hopeful elect, whoever you may be, Lord willing you continue in the same spirit to endure and be sincere. And shalom to the Akwat Yum that are believers in his faith and his truth. Lord willing, you can continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, the Most High have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that is not in the faith, right? You see the title, you know, they're wearing us out, man, you know, but the elect are going to endure, right? They're wearing out the saints, but the elect are going to endure, right? Been thinking about this for the past few days. I think it was either Elder Yashawamba. It was one of the brothers from Great Millstone. I was watching a video at work. And he was like, man, we still getting worn out, and it's gonna get worse. You know, so it made me tap into Daniel the 7th chapter in verse 25. Right? I got some precepts I wrote down from work. Lord willing, I can actually tap into them. Right? So the first one we're gonna get is Daniel the 7th chapter in verse 25. Right? Just gonna keep it straight to the point, Lord willing. This is Daniel chapter 7 in verse 25. It says, he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and dividing of times. You know, first starting with Rome, right? They changed certain things too, and they were wearing out the saints, but we're in the rebirth, right? The rebirth of Rome, and they're wearing us out. You know, even starting with our children, you know, the things that our children, you start talking about the Lord, your kids is not excited, right? Kids want to hurry up and get it done. Okay, I read this. Oh, I heard that. They want to get it done. You know, this society is wearing out the women and wearing out the men, right? It's wearing out the women, where women is starting to think they over the man, right? It's wearing us out that the women or the men don't know their role. They don't know their purpose. They don't know why the Lord created a man and woman, man. We're being worn out by education, worn out by jobs, right? You know, a lot of us is focused on money, right? If Jake ain't talking about money, you know, his conversation or his words mean nothing, you know? So really, for the children of Israel, let me just get this real quick, because this is a part of us being worn out, right? When you go to Haggai, might have to end up using my phone on this one because it is windy where I'm at. Yeah, I might actually end up doing that. Yeah, I might end up doing that. The way this wind blowing, it's gonna take the delivery away. Right? So let's go to Haggai real quick. This is Haggai chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Right? So even, you know, they're wearing us out about the food that we're eating, man. Right? You know, when you look at some of the ingredients on Reese Pieces, Snickers, right? It be having a whole damn near menu on the ingredients is in there, man. Right? They're wearing us out. You got women putting on weave, seeing some sister that's having head problems, but she don't even care because she putting a weave in her head, right? Or lace fronts, and she's saying it's real, but basically she getting somebody else's hair that's cut off and putting it on her head, man. That goes into Isaiah the 3rd chapter, man. Our women is getting hit with that curse of baldness. You know, they getting cursed on their head, man. We getting worn out, man. And don't even know who our enemies, who our adversaries is, man. And think that this captivity or this place is making us great. You know, you got the black Latinos and natives don't understand who the hell they is. They don't understand who their adversaries or who their enemies is. We being worn out, right? Prophecies through the scriptures showed that the children of Israel are going to be worn out by the nation, starting with Esau, man, right? So now let's go to, because the saints is Israel, but on this side it's the elect. Let's go to Revelations, the 6th chapter. We're going to go to verse 9 and 10. Right? It says, and when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. Right? And the testimony of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is a mystery. Everybody is not going to get it. You know? People might see me reading out the Bible, like this dude was just looking at me. Right? People might see what's going on in the church and think everybody think that they know something in the scriptures, man. This is a mystery. And the Lord has to reveal those things unto you. Those are the ones that's going to be slain for the word, right? The ones that are committing themselves to the will of the Heavenly Father by rehearsing the righteous acts, which is in the law, let alone faith in Yahweh Shai. You know, coming into the real knowledge of understanding that, you know, the name Jesus was pushed on you, a false name, false advertisement, right? We're worn out even by the name of the Heavenly Father and the Son, saying Lord God and saying Jesus, and don't even understand the root of things. And that's part of this mystery, you know? Let me actually, let me read verse 10 and I'll get something. Verse 10, it says, they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Yahweh? Holy and true doest thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? The elect is asking, man, how much longer? You know, you see what these mofos doing to us, man. Right? Let me actually get this in Deuteronomy. Right? Because when Jake actually come into the knowledge, they're gonna get tired of being oppressed. They're gonna be tired of being low. Thank you, appreciate it. It's all Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 29. It says, the secret things belong unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai, our power, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Right? And this whole word is really for all the children of Israel, the black Latinos and natives, you know, and the Hispanics, right? But only on this side is going to only be for the elect that are true and faithful to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? Everybody is not drawn to this. right? The Lord is handpicking ones that's going to be faithful, right? Faithful to the door, which the door is Yahushua, right? A lot of us is not going to believe in this, but we're believing in this society. It was set up to be in that way, right? Let me show you something in the book of Maccabees. This is history, right? These are secrets that the Lord is allowing to be revealed, right? And it's not just off of somebody's opinion, you know, it's through the scriptures, man. This is First Maccabees chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 7 so you can get some point on. This is like during the time of Alexander the Great, and then when he fell, his 4 successors or generals, they became next in power, right? So this is First Maccabees chapter 1 in verse 7. It says, so Alexander the Great reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place, and after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after the many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth, right? And so when you even look at old history, you know, nations will always give their kingdom to the Senate. And the high elite on this side, they're going back into their old tradition. That's why they have general wealth. You know, the elites that's ruling the earth, they have general wealth, right? Because it's given from the Senate to the Senate. You know, daughter and son. You know, they keeping the same system as giving it to the son, to the man, right? Because the man hold the seed, right? Verse 10, it says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome. And he reigned 137th year, the 7th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. You have a lot of Jake that's making a covenant with their adversary and don't even know it, you know? That goes back into what we're reading in Daniel 7:25, right? The saints is worn out, right? Even you wicked 2/3, you don't even know your spirit is worn out too, right? But we know, I mean, not y'all, I mean, not everybody know, but the righteous spirit is crying to the Lord, man. You know, Lord, when you gonna come and save us? But we understand through prophecies, everything happened at the time pointed to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. It's the same as how you get in this truth. Yahweh Shai know everything. He don't know when he's coming. So he's patiently waiting too, man. The elect is gonna rise up in the spirit, right, when it comes to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The elect is not rising up with a damn knife, a gun, and said, I'm about to kill my adversaries. No. You know, our weapons are not carnal, right? Our warfare is this word. This word is a lethal weapon. It's a double-edged sword, right? These nations, starting with Esau, they don't like it, right? When you go into the book of Nehemiah, when through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, you know, and through the decree of Cyrus, which the Lord, you know, was using Cyrus as an anointed to let Israel go back into their land. Only elect went back into their land to rebuild the temple. And the nations on the side was like, hey, they building their temple, and it's a damn heap of ruins. If a fox just touched one stone, it's gonna fall back down. You had people trying to bump against us while we were rebuilding the temple. You know, and right now we're building the 3rd temple now. And the 3rd temple is not physical, it's spiritual. You know, it's a spiritual house, right? Let's actually go to a precept real quick. This is 1 Peter chapter 2. Wait for this truck. This is 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4 and 5. It says, to whom coming as unto a lively stone disallowed indeed of men, but chosen of God and precious, ye also are lively stones, are built up a spiritual house, a holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God by Yahweh Shai Mashiach. The sacrifice is you doing these teachings, man, going out to the highways and byways looking like a fool for the Lord, but you being a fool for the elect's sake, man. You know, it's people driving, it's people walking, because I'm around the business. You got people walking to that building, people walking to the train station, right? And you got people driving. Some people sitting right there, you know. If they hearken, they hearken. If they don't, they don't. But this is only for the elect, and it's all about magnifying and manifesting the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, regardless if they hear or forbear, right? This is the sacrifice. Laying ourselves down like a living sacrifice. Romans, the 12th chapter, verse 1. And that spiritual house is the elect, right? Because the ones that are not spiritual, right, trying to understand these scriptures in a natural sense, they can't understand it because they don't have that spiritual discernment. That's 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter. That is a part of the Rakak Wadash, to have a spirit of discernment, or have a spirit of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding on a deeper sense. You know, this is the spiritual house. Not just saying just only me, but it's dealing with the elect, the true men of the Lord on this side. Even if we don't know the elect, the spiritual house is the ministry that's being pushed daily, feeding the sheep and building them up. In some ways, to build up the sheep, you got to tear them down, because we got to break the strongholds. That's what's wearing us down. Actually, let me get that. Let me get that. That's in 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to pulling down the strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringeth into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. Right? Because really, when you come to serve the Lord, you are a prisoner, you are a slave. And the elect are slaves because they're going to always be brought to their lot, right? The elect is predestined to come back into their role. You know, everybody come back into their role. Daniel, the 12th chapter, verse 13, he said, rest, you know, thou shalt be in thy lot in the last days, man. Right? So again, you know, we're breaking down the strongholds. Right, the name Jesus, right? The mindset of like IUIC talking about having multiple wives is a sin, right? You breaking down the strongholds of false doctrine. We breaking down the strongholds of holidays, right? We breaking down the strongholds of having the mindset, oh, I gotta be rich, right? Get a damn job. If you is successful, keep that with you. It's nobody business. It's nobody business on if you have a wife, or how many wives you have, right? It's nobody business how much money you got in your wallet. What the hell we pocket watching? What the heck we watching with how somebody's house? If it's pertaining to the law and the faith, then you got to get rebuked. But other than that, we're breaking down the strongholds daily, man. The ideology, the philosophies that come with this world, that come with America, man. That is what's wearing us down spiritually. We got things wearing us down mentally. We got things wearing us down financially, where Jake, he can't make ends meet with his dumbass job because Esau is paying him a low wage. You know, you go to other countries like China and other places, right? Jake is able to live like living. They able to do certain things that actually is cheap over there. Buying food, groceries. We spend about $400 on this side. Over there, they spending about $60 and filling the whole refrigerator. We're being worn out, man. The water, they said, is a high level of fluoride, man. You can't even drink the sea. Remember we used to bend over in the sink and drink the sink water? The drink was delicious. You know? Skin being deformed because of the water, or you taking a shower, your wife Hair can't go past her damn shoulders. Your daughter got a damn attitude because she want to be loose like a goose. Your son thinking about electronics all damn day and don't know how to read. That's all, folks. You know, nobody has a desire for the Lord. Only the elect, starting with the men. And of course, we're going to say the women because we're talking about the grown-ups. And then even some of these kids have a desire, having dreams, having visions, and waking up being scared, man. Those are signs of the elect, right? That's what they're doing on this side. But the elect, regardless, being in this truth, you still worn out. Working 12 hours, standing on your dang feet. Then you know what? You got to turn around. You gotta serve the Lord. This is foolish preaching, but it comes with blood, sweat, and tears, man. Yahushua was praying, and it was like sweat coming down. It was like blood. You know, serving the Lord on this side is blood, sweat, and tears. It wears you down, right? Because we can only do the best that we can because we're worn out, right? Daniel, the 7th chapter, verse 25, right? So let me go back to that Revelations chapter 6, verse 9. And when he had opened up the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God. And this is a vision John having. John is seeing in this vision the ones that's being slain for the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. In a minute, brothers and sisters, right? You're going to get physically worn out. They're going to be afflicting you. It's going to be insurrections going on. It's going to be civil chaos in the communities, man. You women that's too prideful. Some of them brothers gonna get out of jail and you might get touched. People is afraid to hearing that, right? Because they think they're living in the land of the free. Ain't nothing gonna happen to America. And then you say you got a relationship with the Lord. You don't even believe in prophecies. No kingdom lasts forever except for the kingdom that's set for Yahushai in the elect. That's Daniel, the 2nd chapter, verse 44, right? So really, this is the word is important. I'm gonna read verse 9 to NLT. It says, when the Lamb broke the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of all who had been martyred for the word of God and for being faithful to their testimony, the testimony of Yahweh Shem Shai, the records. The testimony is the Bible, having faith in the word, right? To be martyred is to be beheaded or killed for the word of Yahweh Shem Shai. And that's starting with the men, right? In our past life, it was the men of the Lord that was getting martyred for the word of Yahweh Shem Shai, right? Ecclesiastes 1:9, KJV, NLT. History merely repeats itself, you know? The Lord is allowing history to repeat itself. You got Jake not caring. That happened in the past. You got women trying to be over their man or trying to have a higher position or having a mindset like Jezebel. I'm going to handle this for my man, but doing it in a sinful way. Killing their whole brother for a piece of land. Jake is doing that on this side, right? You got women that we're the good men that. Then it's a good man right in front of them, but now I want a hustler. Like this girl made a video. She said, in my past life, when I was younger, I wanted drug dealers, scammers. I wanted a bad boy. Now that phase is done, now I want a good dude. Man, you already had more than 10 mofos in that Karuchi, that taco. You're just a car with a lot of mileage. This place is wearing us out where there's no freaking order, right? So verse 10 in the NLT, it says they shouted to Yahweh Shema Shai and said, "O sovereign Lord, holy and true, how long before you judge the people who belong to this world and avenge our blood for what they have done to us?" Right? Because the righteous blood is crying out to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Starting all the way back into the time of Abel. Right? You wicked Israelites, starting with 1 Peter 4:17, the Lord gonna touch you, man. You gonna get touched. So any Jake that's playing the fence about this truth, you're gonna get touched. This is why the Lord is revealing a lot of things in this truth, right? We're seeing some brothers that got things hitting behind the scene. Man, they ain't really of this of the flock. The elect is not teeter-tottering. The elect are not double-minded, and the elect is not having a bad report on this side. They might slip the tongue, but we got a chance to fix that, right? The saints are being worn out, man. So now let's get Revelations, the 11th chapter, right? This right here happened to fulfill verse 11 to where we at now. So this Revelations chapter 11 verse 7 in the KJV. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit, which when you go to Revelation the 20th chapter, that beast is dealing with Rome, right? Rome went into Europe. Right? That's when they fell. That's that bottomless pit. Go to 2nd Esdras, the 5th chapter, verse 24. A pit is land, right? He chosen a pit, which is Israel, but a pit is land, right? And this beast is Rome that went and that fell and went into the caves in Europe, like the Caucasus Mountain and such a place. And then after 1,000 years, the Lord turned the keys, because Yahushua got the keys to hell and death, and then they were loose, you know, for a little moment or for a small season. So this is the same beast that was in the pit, right? It says the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit, which is Europe, shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. They made war with us when we was in the western mountains of Africa and took us, right? Snatching us, right? Taking advantage of our wives right in front of you, right? Manhandling the men, manhandling the children, the boys and the girls. And then bringing you four corners of the earth and making you slaves for their investments, that we could say. Like cotton, a lot of clothes, blankets, covers, beds. A lot of them is made with cotton. You know, sugar, molasses, tobacco, tea. What else? Tea. I think I already said coffee, gunpowder. You know, the black Latinos, the natives, the Hispanics were used for a lot of things that we actually use for today, right? And that, you know, us, you know, for them bringing us so low, we helped. We're the reason why this empire is built. You know, you get the book of Babylon and Timbuktu. The same thing happened in Egypt. You know, that place was built off the blood, sweat, and tears of the children of Israel. And it happened again. History is just merely repeating itself, right? So verse 8, this is the point, because I already explained. It said, verse 7 again, it says, in the beast that descended out of the bottomless pit, that happened in the time of the Renaissance, starting with the family, or the Borgia family, when they started to implement the name Jesus, starting in, I think, the 1624, the 1600s. But the J's got created in the 1500s, I think 1524 or the 1520s. And it says, it shall make war against them, it shall overcome them and kill them. So you got to know, even before they brought, you know, the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin and Levi to the Americas and had us four corners of the earth, they came over here and started messing with the natives. But they were coming here trying to find gold, treasure, you know, riches, abundance, copper, silver, other things that we use today, right? And so they tried to come swiftly and try to make peace with the natives. As soon as the natives taught them how to wash and taught them how to do these things, with craftiness, which is like Sirach, the 12th chapter, you know, don't let them sit next to you or they'll take your seat. So they was trying to be in the midst of the natives, learning their ways, so eventually they can be able to take over this place. And when the natives would sleep in certain areas, they started going on a massacre, killing natives, right? So they wasn't only just killing and taking the southern kingdom, they came over here and even messed with the northern kingdom, right? Just a punishment from the Heavenly Father. Like verse 8, it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom in Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified, right? And this is America that's spiritually called Sodom in Egypt, because this place, because that's just a prophecy, you know, because this place was going to be a mecca of freaking the LGBT community, even though it's everywhere. right? But in America, it's pushed, it's a norm. You know, it's a norm, it's a natural thing to do. And Egypt, going back to Exodus 20:2, is Egypt is called the house of bondage. And this was called the house of bondage. You know, starting with the natives and then really making a big higher value of their product with the southern kingdom. You know, it's not a literal dead bodies, which they was killing us, but us being dead is us not having the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which ushers in 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, verse 3. The falling away is very important, because why would brothers be on the highways and byways teaching? Is because the Lord opened up the books. You know, it's still some that's dead. It's still some that's still part of that that's consumed by that falling away. But the falling away, if this word is out, the falling away is done with. If you're not getting this knowledge, you most likely might be somebody that's perishing. If you can't understand this gospel, if it's hitting to you, you are the one that's going to be perishing. Right? 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, verse 3 and 4. Right? Read it in the NLT. Right? To those the gospel is hitting to, you know, you're going to perish. You know, let me actually read that. Let me read that real quick. The scriptures is amazing. You know, it's really a reflection, man. You know, right now, this is the time to get hot. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 and 4. If the good news we preach is hidden behind a veil, it is hidden only from people who are perishing. So if you ain't getting it, reading all about it, right, you most likely are in the shoes of somebody that's going to perish. Hey, I can't help you, man. I can't force you into this thing, right? The only thing I could do is keep doing what the Lord compelled me to do. Through the Spirit, I'm forced to do this. This was attractive to me, and the Lord compelled me. Through the Spirit, He forced me to do it. So now that I'm doing it, I get, damn, if I don't do a video, if I don't go out teaching, right? It doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter at all, man. It's always in my mind, you know, because the Lord through the Spirit compelled me, right? He called me to do this, and I believe it by faith, right? Verse 4, it says, Satan, who is the God of this world, through the Spirit, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe, right? And it's really the Lord, you know, giving a decree on the left-hand side. 1 Kings 22, I think 1 Chronicles, the 18th chapter, right? It goes into the same thing about Micaiah, where the Lord is talking to the angels on the left and the right. The Lord is always having a counsel with the angels in the left and the right. Before they come down, Genesis 28, verse 10 to 12, before they come down on, you know, the so-called Jacob's ladder, the Lord give them order on what to do, right? For the righteous and for the unrighteous, man. I need you to go slip a lie in that area. You know what? I need you to go raise that brother up, right? It's just all Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai and everybody working in the orders and, you know, actually listening to the decrees of the Heavenly Father, man. So again, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, in verse 4 in the NLT, Satan, who is the God of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. They are unable to see the glorious light of the good news. They don't understand this message about the glory of Hamashiach, who is the exact likeness of God, right? And there's no excuses. When that lady seen us down the street at the train station where brothers is teaching and women or men be like, yo, call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, it's no excuses. No excuses. I'm on the main street right here. It's no excuses. Just like how they naturally did it, the Lord is going to draw people to want to hear that word, either at that time or that time. If you're not drawn to this, you most likely going to perish. And this is by what the Lord have given us, man. You got to know that these words are divine. The Heavenly Father knows what's going to happen before it happens, right? Usually for the past few weeks, I've been coming out. Sometimes it might hit me and I might not come out. But it's all by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you know? It's all by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, right? Because He is moving. And if I'm teaching wrong, the Lord going to have me be exposed, right? But if things is being edified and it's actually teaching and lining with the 100% truth, the Lord is going to allow this to be sent out. The Lord is going to actually send me out the Lord is going to send that brother out. The Lord going to have that brother wake up and do a lesson, because it's all by Yahweh Shem Shai, because he opened up the books. Knowledge is increasing. This right here is the sign. This is the sign, man. The sign been here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The sign been here last year, the year before that, the year before that. The sign been out here because the Lord is calling his men to go out, right? Let me actually get this precept real quick, and then we're gonna go back to Revelations. Let's go to Jeremiah 7:25. In the KJV, it says, since the day that your fathers came forth out of the land of Egypt unto this day, I have even sent unto you all my servants, the prophets, daily, rising up early and sending them. Right? In the NLT, it shows you that the Lord is sending the prophets out day in and day out. That's their number one job, right? To go out daily, to feed the sheep, regardless if they hear from bear, man. Right? So now let's go back to where we was at. So Revelations 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which is Mystery Babylon, aka America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Right? And you know, today the Lord is crucified again. Right? You got Jake through the Spirit when you go to Hebrews, the 6th chapter, where they go back into they're in the world, or they come in this truth. Right? They're crucifying or putting Yahweh Shai to a shame again. You got crucifying where people are mocking or coming at the prophets. You crucifying the Lord again, right? Because the Lord sent out the prophets in his name, right? When it comes to you saying Jesus, when you saying these names that was pushed on us when we were damn near in a true dead estate, right? The Lord is being crucified each and every day on this side, man, right? Spiritually. Now, verse 9, it says, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in the grave. That is 350 years. That's 350 years we were at a dead estate. That go with Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. The dry bones that Ezekiel was speaking to, the valley of dry bones, Psalms 23, right? What is it called? The shadow, the valley of the shadow of death. This is the valley of the shadow of death, because Jake is dead. Jake is in a dead estate. This is the valley of dry bones. This is the shadow of death, America, man. And now that the knowledge is coming out, now the Lord is trying to raise up the elect. That is the sign that the word, if the word is getting pushed out about Hebrew Israelites, the covenant, the oath, the law, the everlasting covenant, that shows that the books are opening, right? Verse 10, it says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets torment them that dwell upon the earth, right? So when you go to NLT, it says all the people who belong to this world will gloat over them and give presents to each other to celebrate the death of the two prophets who had tormented them. Right? And you got, starting with the elites, they're rejoicing at our fall. Right? The two prophets is symbolic, or a similitude, if you've been reading, it's talking about the southern and northern kingdom, the tabernacles of David. We have persecuted them, starting even when we got into our position of rulership, even going into Egypt, right? Leaving Egypt, when we started going our land, taking it over. Then when we got in our land from David to Solomon, right, we was persecuting these nations because we were abiding in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Then when the Lord was sending out the prophets, when the prophets was prophesying against kingdoms, right, kingdoms was falling. Jeremiah 28:8, right? The prophets of old, before Jeremiah time, was prophesying against great kingdoms, against wars, against pestilence, against evil, you know? So we're tormenting the world today, man, and it's really by our spiritual weapon, which is this word, man, the knowledge that the Lord have given us, right? When a nigga know who he is, you making a problem with the elites, right? And let's actually read verse 11, because this right here is for this time right now. Verse 11, it says, after 3 days and a half, 350 years, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, right? Because this is a work in progress. That time started in the late 50s, right? The 1950s, right? Late 1950s, the Lord started to have this knowledge where brothers saying, the Hebrew Israelites, we're God chosen people. Even Nate Turner, he was teaching, but it wasn't that time. So he fully didn't even have to understand it, right? That's through the Spirit. That's why the Lord allowed what happened to him. You know, it wasn't the time yet, right? But that was supposed to be part of us knowing that we were worn out. As soon as we stepped down over on this side, we were worn out by these mother suckers, man. I mean, they the new niggas. Esau, them Edomites, the white men and women, those the new niggas, man. They worn us out, right? So now, what did it say? It said, great fear fell upon them which saw them in the NLT. But after 3.5 days, 350 years, God breathed life into them just like he did Adam, right? It says, and they stood up and terror struck all who were staring at them, right? Starting with the elites. The elites is the ones that push this lie. They're watching. Like right now, I got a list right now. Let me get this list. You might not be able to see it because on the screen, when got the screen facing me this way, it's gonna be backwards. So this list right here says who controls your mind, right? This is Kanye West before he started, start talking about the juju beings. He was talking, right? Now, because since I'm using YouTube, let me see. So YouTube CEO and Vice President, wait, hold on, let me make sure. YouTube CEO, YouTube CEO is a damn juju being, right? They got the founders are part of the LGB, and they're part of the another race, right? So they could be East Indian, they could be anybody that's shaking hands with Esau. So the founders of YouTube is even Jujus, right? The top elite is watching, right? They're watching everything because America is their investment. Actually, everything in this world is their investment because the Lord has, Job 9:24, right? The earth is given to the hands of the wicked, right? He covered the faces of the judges. Who is he? Where is he? Right? There's only one nation that covered the faces and the images of the judges of Yahweh Shem Shai in the Bible, right? Before, when you go see movies about Jesus, what image is he? Right now, they got this new show, The House of David. They got some Muslim Egyptian people in the damn movie, man. Who orchestrate that? Go look up the government movie. I forgot what it's called, but the government, our government, they have a freaking movie sector. So a lot of movies that's push, a lot of what they call that, conspiracy movies, they push that into out to the community. Like when you look at Shogun, the hacker that seen that it was no privacy in the United States. That was a real thing, but that became a movie. Wait, I forgot. There's another one. It's called, I forgot what it's called. It's a movie with the dude that played Thorn. He's like a supreme hacker. That was real. That got pushed, right? Drug related joints. That got pushed, right? And we're not even told. Like when you read between the lines, you get to find out that Esau is the one that pushed drugs. Go watch the TV show Snowfall, right? Esau was pushing those drugs in, man. You know, the Esau from the elites all the way down, they're orchestrating this. Nathan Rothschild said he don't care who's ruling an empire or ruling the government. They don't care what puppet they put in office. He said whoever controls the money, he's the real ruler, right? And most elite people or rulers, they're not in everybody's face. They're behind the scene, right? Monopoly. Who is the old Monopoly dude symbolic to? That joint just came out. I had to hear it from an actual billionaire. That's supposed to be depicted as J.P. Morgan. Go look up J.P. Morgan, man. He's close friends with the Rothschild family, man. That's why his bank, Chase Bank, Bank of America, all those banks are high value banks, right? The elites have a hand in it, you know, because they're watching, you know. You think they ain't watching their investments? When you look at Herod, when Herod heard about this Messiah coming, what he had the three, whenever you find him, can you tell me where he at so I can come meet him and worship him? Then he got mad and started killing all of them. You don't think the elite is doing the same thing as Herod, watching, hearing what's going on? Man, Donald Duck just said a few months ago, he said the prophets, even the prophets said that World War III is going to happen in the Middle East first. Who is he watching? Who is Donald Duck watching, man? Right? And Jake really think everything is good because Esau give you some food stamps and a damn honey bun. You able to smoke a blunt. You able to get you a fifth of Henny or something. You think you all good and dandy. You niggas is brutish. Now, I'm talking to the original niggas, which is Jake. I'm talking to you niggas now. Right? But you don't understand. You're worn out. We worn out, man. I'm standing here and I'm worn out. Right? Soon as I sit down, go to sleep, the weekend is over. I got to go back to work. Niggas is worn out. Can't even enjoy your kids. Right? Before your kids go to school, they got to get certain shots in order for them to go to school. We worn out, man. You saying that you don't want to take certain vaccines just because of your religion or your mind of thought. Yeah, that's a problem. So I can't say no to no damn to no vaccine shot, to the vacuum shot. Come on, man. We're worn out. I might post that list again on my YouTube. I kind of post it frequently throughout the year. Right? So now, let's go back to that Revelations 11:11. It says, after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Right? So, to the brothers that's pushing this word, you're doing a good job, man. Right? Because through the spirit, we putting fear on our adversaries. Come on, let's slide over to the next chapter. Let's go to Revelations, the 12th chapter. Let's go to the 12th verse, right? Because they're in fear now, right? So look, Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the habitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. 1 Thessalonians 5:3. They're going to say peace and safety, but destruction is going to fall down on the people. And they're going to be the reason why, but it's all through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? They're going to have great wrath on us, right? In a minute, Jake is going to catch even more of a hell. It says, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Why you think abortions is being pushed? Because he know his time is almost up. His time almost up, man. But we're being worn out, you know? And the elect is rising up now through the spirit because they're tired. Ain't you tired of being tired? Don't you wake up and think of the kingdom? Don't you think, man, I want to rule, man. It's a lot of Jake. No, come on, give me another year. I don't want another year. I don't want another week. I don't want another month. I want it now. What they say, I want my money, I want it now. No, I want my kingdom and I want it now. I want to see Yahushua now. I want to get on the chariot now. I want it now. Acts 1:6. Even apostles at that time, they're like, yo, you gonna restore the kingdom of Israel? They even wanted the kingdom. How much more you? Right? Shalom to the brother Yahweh Shemar Shai Barakatam, man. Shalom, shalom. So again, the children of Israel, the saints, are being worn out, starting with the elect, right? And they're rising up in the spirit because they getting tired of this place and they shaking their hand, man. The men of the Lord are like Jonah. They're multiple Jonahs. right? Shaking the damn hand, man. And people looking at, man, this man a fool, man. They fools over there. Man, oh, man, that's a damn blanket. It's a dang poncho, right? People don't understand the estate that they're in. They don't know what's going on. They don't know why is America open shop. Why is it? What happened? Why did they come and do what they did to the natives? Why is that a cover-up? Come on, why is the Bible speaking against this place? What did Anthony Hamilton say in a song? Why you gotta do me like that? They try to my way. The song is why. So why? Why is the scriptures, why the Lord got the scriptures going against and speaking about the destruction of this place? Why? That's a very important question. Why? Right? So now let's go to Revelations, the 13th chapter. Right? Let's go to verse 7. It says, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints. Wait, hold on. Let me see something. Yeah. Let's start at 7. It says, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. This is the same people we already been reading from Daniel, the 7th chapter, starting with the 4th beast, which is Rome. And Rome fell and went to the bottomless pit, which is Europe. You got to do your research, right? And you can look at Revelation, the 20th chapter, verse 1 and 3. And it hops when it gets to verse 4. Verse 4 is talking about now in this time when it pushed the MOTB. But verse 1 to 3 is talking about Rome when they fell, and then the Lord put them in prison, but, put them in the caves, right? And then after 1,000 years, they were going to rule for a little season, right? People laughing. Hey, that's cool. Keep laughing. So verse 7 in Revelation 13, it says, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints. The saints are the Israelites. When you go a little deeper, the saints on this side is the elect, the ones that are faithful, right? When you go into the word faithful in Numbers 12 and 7 about Moses, he was faithful. The word faithful in that chapter, that verse, is talking about supporter of the door. Who's the door? Yahushua, right? So the true saints, the true saints that they're making war with is really the elect. But truly, Esau is making war with all of us, right? You 2/3 and the elect, because why you think they created the drug dealer or the hoe, the hoochie mama, baby mamas, baby fathers, right? They making war with the whole nation. Even your kids not safe. Soon as you go to the doctors, right, when your placenta, they're gonna take it, and some of them is gonna cook it and eat it, or they gonna try to extract the blood from the placenta. You can't even take it out. They hurry up and say they threw it out. Okay, I didn't see you throw it in the trash. We gotta go take it and test it. Your kids is even being a damn experiment. Oh, we see right here, your kid haven't got no flu shot. Before they start pre-K, they gotta get a shot. No, I'm not doing it. Yo, if your kids don't go to school for a certain amount of time, they send CPS. We're worn out, man. Well, if you don't want your kids to get no education here and you teaching them yourself or whatever it is, you get CPS called on you? Yo, this is a freaking prison. We got prison houses, like prison buildings, but you are in your own prison, man. So let's go back to that Revelations 13 and 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Right? When you go to Revelations, the 17th chapter, America, which is the new Rome 2.0, Revelations, the 17th chapter, I'm going to read verse 1. I'm going to go down to the point. It says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 veils, and talked with me, saying, saying unto me, come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right? The whore is America, but what is the many waters? Right? Going to verse 15, it says, he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So America is the face of the whole world. But really, who's ruling America? Because it's not just only America. This is part of that beast, a part of the system. It's just as a whole, it's Esau. Esau, the so-called white man and woman, though, that's the beast. Plain and simple, that's the beast. Anybody connected to Rome 2.0, they're part of this beast, right? Now, verse 8 in Revelations 13, it says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, right? Worship, you go into that word, it means to obey or bow the head. A lot of us is bowing the head, right? A lot of us are obeying, right? You see all these laws, America come and push 44,000 laws, and they got other laws that they pushing too, right? It says, whose names are not written in the book of life. Wait, Salaki, let's read it again. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world, right? So really, the ones that's truly worshiping him is the 2/3, because truly the 2/3 are not written in the book of life. And it was already established. The elect, they were sick on this earth, and they're gonna already be established. It's not, oh, when the world is ending, the book of life, and he's gonna read every name. No, whoever is the elect, they're gonna get beamed up, get glorified bodies, and the Lord gonna say, good job, right? Good job. The non-elect is gonna be destroyed on this side. Reading the NLT, it says, and all the people who belong to this world, James 4:4, anybody that's a friend of the world is enmity between the Most High and His Son, right? You're an enemy of the Lord if you're a friend of the world. They are the ones whose names are not written in the book of life before the world was made. See? Predestined. The book that belongs to the Lamb who was slaughtered, right? It said the book that belongs to the Lamb. So the book belongs to Yahushua who was slaughtered. And what did it say in the beginning? It says, they are the ones whose names were not written in the book of life before the world was. So it was predestined for people of the nation of Israel to not be of the elect. It's like being an actor and the director say, hey, look, you got to play the behind the scenes and you're going to be the main character. Right? So the 2/3 is really the behind the scenes, but they're a character though. They have scenes, they have a role, they have conversations, but they're not the main character in this thing. Right? It's gonna start and end with the main characters. Right? You 2/3 are not the main characters because you wasn't written in the book of life before the foundations of the heavens and the earth. Yo, the Lord is a bad man, Majama. So like me and Yermel was speaking at work. If you ain't getting this, like what is it, King Masha, if they don't get it, keep moving, man. Keep it moving. If they don't get it, keep it moving. The elect gonna want this, man. Right? So reading verse 9 in KJV, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, right? So first we got to know, when we go into the conclusion, this is talking about the beast in the beginning of the chapter. So that beast, he led people into captivity. And then when we go into other history of other nations putting these same people that are part of the Lamb into captivity, they're going to go into captivity. Starting with this beast in those other nations that picked up the sword and pointed or used it against Jake, they're going to be put to death by the sword, by the weapon. Call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. These mother suckers going to reap what they sow. The Lord didn't forget, right? Now let's go to Revelations 14. What's Revelations? The book of it's revealed. Woo! So all you that word out the saints, yo, you gonna get it, man. You mother suckers gonna get it, man. Right? So this is Revelations chapter 14, and I'm gonna read verse 12. It says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God in the faith of Yahushua. Right? Let me read the NLT. It says, this means that God's holy people must endure persecution patiently, obeying his commands and maintaining their faith in Yahushua. Right now, slowly but surely, this ministry is getting persecuted. And even the top teachers that y'all might not accept, they're being called bums. The apostles and prophets were considered bums, right? They was considered either slow or stupid, right? Because they didn't have a certain high level of learning that the people didn't know about. They were called by the Lord to do it, man. You know? So again, the ministry is going to be afflicted with persecution. You know? Right now, the minute of the Lord is getting it verbally. And the minute is about to happen physically, man. Right? Got to keep it moving because my phone is acting like it's going to die. So this Revelation is the 16th chapter. And I'm going to read verse 6. It says, "For they have shed the blood of the saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy." Right? In the NLT it says, "The seven angels who were holding the seven plagues came out of the temple. They were clothed in spotless white linen, with gold sashes across their chests." It kind of worded a little different, right? But in the KJV, it shows you, for this beast has shed the blood of the saints, which is truly the children of Israel. But when we sum it up in this time, it's really the elect, right? Because the elect, when you go to Revelations 14, 9 and 10, right? Revelations 20 and 4, the ones that didn't worship the beast, right? The ones that was following the words and the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Shema Shai, they're gonna be beheaded for this truth, right? So those are the saints. Their blood is gonna be shed. And the prophets that's teaching, they are a part of the sector of the saints, right? It all stands with the prophets because those are the ones that is teaching this knowledge for us to have, man. Each and every day, right? And I'm not the guy that started this. The Lord didn't put me in this thing first. I'm not the top guy. I'm not damn sure I'm not seeking it. The Lord just is compelling me. He's forcing me to do this. He put the mojo in me. He put that desire in me. And there's other brothers that have that same desire because we got to shake the damn hand. We got to lift up our voice like a trumpet, man. Regardless if people looking, laughing, pointing fingers, and boo-boo, we got to do this thing. And this is not for entertainment. Oh, let me see if you teaching anybody on the other scene. This is about you hearing the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? I ain't doing this to entertain you. I'm here to teach you and put the fear of the Lord in you if you is of that one. And if you not, hey, may the force be with you like Luke Skywalker. Right? So let's get Revelation 17 and 6. It's all dealing with the end times, baby. Verse 6, it says, "And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints." Right? This place is drunk with the blood of the saints of the Lord, man. Right? It says, "And with the blood of the martyr of Yahushai, and when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration," right? With amazement, right? And when I saw her, I was wondered with great admiration, right? And this is John the Revelator. John the Revelator is seeing it. It's just like when you go to 2nd Esdras 2, right? The whole chapter, Esdras is seeing the elect get crowned, but he's seeing the elect, man, right? So it's inevitable. It's going to happen. The Lord will is going to happen regardless. Everything we just read is going to happen because it was a vision. It was a prophecy. Dark saying. So it's going to happen. It's no way. Like when you're watching a movie, it's an end to the movie. It's not like you watching a movie and they just stop in the middle and they be like, "Hey, I'm sorry. That's end of the movie." No, it's an ending. It's a whole movie and it's an ending with credits. We in the credits right now. You don't see America is divided? It said a kingdom divided cannot stand. America is not going to be able to take any more puncture wounds. That's why they're going to have to push the MOTB. America is going to have to push the MOTB, man. And it's in those little stipulations that they having, it's going to force these nations, starting with the allies, to hate the whore, man. Right? So let's go over to the next chapter. We go in Revelations 18, verse 24. This Revelations 18, verse 24. I'm going to read verse 23. It says, and the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by the sorceries were all nations deceived, and in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. Right? The Lord is going to find, the Lord is going to know that this blood is here, right? Because even the elect, the ones that actually is in the spirit world, their blood is crying to the Lord, right? Let me go up to verse 20, right? We're going to read something, right? It says, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God have avenged you on her, right? And we prophesying what's going to actually happen. The Lord is going to avenge those prophets and apostles off of that Babylon, that whore, that dirty whore, right? Verse 21, it says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, just like Abimelech, when he fell, that lady put a, not that he fell, but she hit him in the head with a great millstone. It's like the commercial of Geico, the cavemen in the caves, and they made a wheel. That is a great millstone. But the great millstone, it says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone. What does it say in Daniel 2? It was a stone carved not by man's hand. That stone is Yahushai. The great millstone is Yahushai. It says, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. That is the excitement, man. Just imagine, like, we getting closer to the spirit. We should be calling on Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Shalom. Calling on Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, man. This place is about to be no more. It's about to be a great deletion, It's about to be a great reset, And this reset, it takes place first with Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, right? Like how they do a government reset. The Lord is going to do a whole reset, right? Let's go to Nahum, the 3rd chapter. Nahum chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, woe to the bloody city, it is all full of lies and robbery, the prey departeth not, right? Right? So this place was made with robbery. It was built with robbery. Woe means destruction, doom, right? This is a bloody city. The blood, like when you have a blood stain, it's a stain, right? And through the spirit, the blood of the elect is stained this whole place. The Lord ain't gonna forget. The Lord has not forgotten what happened to us. Verse 2, it says, the noise of a whip, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and of the prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear. And there is a multitude of slain and great number of carcasses. And there is none end of their corpse. They stumble upon their corpse, right? And that's how America is, man. Esau has a record of mass massacre on the children of Israel. And guess what? The heavens and the earth recorded against that mother sucker, man. This is why the Lord got the prophets angry and bringing forth this truth, man. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 12, man. Through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Shema Shai, the prophets is angry, right? Habakkuk 2 and 12, it says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity, by corruption. And that's what Esau did. He built his empire, not just only America, London, right? All the places that Esau got his finger in a cookie jar, he built it with blood, with corruption. When you go to Revelation 16, when it talks about the 3 defiled frogs, right? One of the defiled frogs is London, which is the finance, America, the military might, and then you got Rome, the religious, right? It's Rome. But Esau, that deals with this beast, are scattered in different areas, man. orchestrating, right? When you go to other places, they don't feed us this. When you go to Canada, their ingredients on freaking a Snicker bar, a fruit roll-up is less. America, they give you everything you can't even pronounce, man, because they want niggas dead, man, right? Just like with the spirit of Harad, man, they know that you are of the flock of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is why they always trying to do a big deletion to the children of Israel, right? Because when you rise up, we become a problem, and they're trying to take back their birthright, but they ain't gonna be able to do it. She said the end is 9. Right, you actually right. The end is 9. It's at hand, man. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is tired of seeing his people worn out, man. Right? You got because I keep seeing this on IG, where you got women in your own community that want to get on baddies so much, because now Esau is making so many different plays to make it easier for Jake to be a celebrity. Now you could be lazy and just make a podcast and sit there and talk and make money. They don't know how to really work. And then making all this money, making money so quick, when you start teaching about the word of the Lord, that is pushed aside. Yeah, I believe in the Lord, but I got to get this money. You know? When I don't know, it's games that they got on the phone where you can do it's a video game on a computer where you can buy amusement parks around the world. And you invest money, and then when the season over, you make new rides. It's the same like with that Wiz Khalifa. He got the video game about weed. You make weed shops. They got other games where you make businesses, and then like every time you tap it, like first you making like a few $1,000s, and then it go to $100,000, and then it goes to like millions of dollars, and then billions, and then trillions. It's a game on phones that you can go on app to make businesses, right? And then you got to know, in this society, if it's easy to be a millionaire, that means that money don't have that value. Because before, it was a low percentage of people being millionaires. It was a low percentage of people having 100,000. You know, the world is changing, not for the good, but for the worse. And a lot of you, Jay, gonna be caught with a sneak attack. What they say in Yu-Gi-Oh, hit him with a sneak attack. You know, this is about the elect. This place is about to fall. The Lord is tired of his saints being worn out. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Again, I want to give a tawada to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, for allowing me to come out and bring out this word, but really allowing the men of the Lord, whoever you may be that woke up this morning to do a lesson. The Lord had compelled you through the Spirit, forced you to do a lesson, maybe had it in your mind. Lord willing, we can continue to keep that push. Shabbat Shalom to the ones that's doing the Shabbat right now. We in it. And then later on tonight, you know, it's a new moon, which is a double Shabbat, right? And Lord willing, you continue to grow. And Lord willing, we continue to flip the algorithm by Yahweh Shem Yahushai, by growing in the ministry and the faith of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So with that, Shalom, Shalom. A double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. A mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect. Lord willing, that y'all all can continue to endure and be sincere. And Shalom to the Akwat Yom, that are believers of the faith and the truth. Right? Abal, Shalom.